Alright, welcome back to the league race, this time with TTML F2 for round 6 at Hungary. So, not much to say. I This was really satisfying to drive. I'm not going to lie. I tweaked the setup quite a bit from what you see in time trial. I just felt pretty decent. I felt like maybe a good result could have been on the cards, possibly. But we'll see how that goes, shall we? First, we have to get through get through one shot. So, anyways, here is one shot. Nothing really doing, and then I took too much of this left-hander, and boom. That caught me by surprise. I didn't think that was. I didn't really invalidate much of that turn, so it took me by surprise a little bit. But there you go. I completed the lap anyways. I think it was like a 28-1, so it'll put me P8. So, but instead we're starting in P14, and Joe, my teammate, is down. Sorry, P13. And Joe's in P14. So that's where we stand. But we're not going to do mediums. We're going to start on the softs and just go from there. Hope that no penalties will be, penalties will be picked up, and we'll go from there. So anyway, here we go then. 5 red lights. And away we go. Decent little start there. Bit of a wobble there, but decent start. Maze going to get swallowed here. But this is a good start. I'm really happy with this. And there's a nice little line developing on the outside here. So it's going to walk into that. Come close to hitting the back of Zexer. There's all sorts of dive bombs and such in front. I'm going to stick to the outside. And then I'm going to cut back in. Right hand side. Space is there. So I'm going to try hang around the outside here into turn 3, I think. Sorry, it's turn 2. I'm going to get Zexer on the outside, turn in, and boom. That is us up into 10th place. So a decent start there, up to 10 from 13 on lap 1. And maybe we might get better before we finish this lap as well. Let's see. See, right-hander of turn 5. There goes Blizzard off wide. Nolan, and then Frunky then as well. So Blizzard actually stays ahead. Let's go P8 then, on lap 1 from P13. Pretty good, not going to lie. I was pretty happy with how that turned out. I have to take some avoiding action, of course, but lap 3, kind of see where things are. We've got 1.2 behind Blizzard, who's on mediums. Wesker, I don't have the pace to hang with those guys. Adam is out. There he is on the right hand side. Not sure what happened to him, but he is out. 1.1 seconds ahead of 0 there, and Zexer then 2.5 behind that. The VSC is deployed. So, of course, no fuel saving, of course, but anyways, lap 6, nothing really changed. I could maybe stay there for an extra lap, but I think 0 had pitted behind, so on the lap before, so I didn't want him to get too much of a jump on the fresh medium. So, did I not speed this up? No, I did. Just too late, apparently. Anyway, he's going to come in. Medium tyres, of course. My exits on these pit lanes is still not great. I'm not sure what the story is, where the optimal revs are, but anyways, away we go, and we're going to merge into a nice clean space. So there are some people who actually sped under that VSC, so we're actually a bit further up than we should be. But yeah, some naughty speeding, but couple of people weren't happy about the Delta VSC Delta post race. But anyways, Joe's in the pits. We're going to stick on board though. This is lap 12 of 19, so it's been there for quite enough race. But see, Zexer is 1.1 seconds now. For a long time, I was keeping him out of that DRS range, and I was really on it. I was really on my driving. I was absolutely on it. But big zoomers on the throttle there, and damn it, that was the slip up. Now he's in DRS. It'd been consistently like 1.1 to like 1.67 across like 6 laps or so, 5-6 laps. But now that he's in the DRS, I can't shake him now. So, and I'm running 11 wings, so I've got no straight line speed in comparison. So anyway, I'm going to nip to the right hand side just to try and prevent some sort of move down the inside, and just try and get as good of an exit as possible. See TTG Honey Badger, who one of the drivers to start a drive through. Zexer then, I'm going to try to hold us down the inside, understeer wide a bit, but get on the throttle nice and early and keep that position. I was hoping then that Honey Badger or Tom would kind of help put a bit of a buffer as he overtook Zexer, whenever that may be, but he's going to get this job done now, I believe. He's going to go through down the inside to turn 5, so and he didn't really lose a lot of time there. So, but that's what I'm hoping for at this stage, is this squabbling could maybe put some separation but I didn't really bother well, not that I could have fought this against Tom, but I didn't bother moving on to the right hand side because again there's no defense for this. So plus I know he's got a few penalties, so I just have to keep somewhat close. Coutinho's in the same boat. He's another driver that I believe got a drive through back end, big swapper there for Tom. And now Joe then is in 8th on softs, and I'm like, oh shit, this is gonna go downhill quickly then. So anyways, yeah, both Coutinho and Joe are very close. So I'm going to try and defend, but really not much I can really do. So Coutinho is through, and Joe will just be able to out-traction me on the outside with his soft tyres. So away he goes. And again, I'm going to well, I mean, I don't think I could fight it, but just trying to hang around the outside so my brake isn't disrupted too much. Get on the throttle early around turn 2. Sadly, Zexter is basically within a second now, but and then Joe loses the back end, slams into one. I was like, oh, for flip's sake, Joe! I couldn't believe it. Chance to get some decent points, and he just throws it away. Anyways, lap 19, Zexter ended up having a half spin. I think I have turn 2 or 3. So that on lap 18, I think. So I was just free to cruise this one home. And coming across the final turn, but just over 60% in these tyres by the end. So we're going to actually jump up into P6 after Tom's penalties. So happy days. P6 is as good as I could have hoped for after my qualifying. And hey, look at that. Driver of the day as well. Happy day. So a good excuse me, a good feature race and some good points. But I was really I felt good with how I felt like I earned that. I felt in control. I very quickly moved away from this the result screen. But I just felt really good about how I was driving and the relative pace in the feature race. But here's the sprint race end. It's time for P3. It's not a bad getaway. The second phase lacked a bit. And so Coutinho's going to get a run. I actually got a decent run compared to those behind, so I'm actually under no threat from... but then randomly, the thing pressed square, and I lost a load of time. I didn't actually do any of that. It just randomly pressed square. I felt a jump on my wheel. So you go through turn 1, and was... Oh, genie back, that could be absolutely disastrous. Trying to approximate... I'm in a sandwich, basically. I'm in a sandwich, and it's not pretty. So I'm trying to approximate for different cars at different places, and then it was just an absolute mess. But Siege is going to get through. That could have been really, really bad. And I believe Wesker lost his wing on the back of that as well. So nothing I can really do about that. But a hair-raising lap 1. So at this stage, after when you do a feature race, you're kind of comfortable. Once you compare it to the start and one-shot qualifying, you feel comfortable. And by the time you get to the sprint race, you're comfortable. Because you've done a whole feature race basically now. But I was really on edge this first lap after all that. My wing is fine. I got distracted. I was trying to go through the menus, and I just completely lost sense of the turn there. So I lost a lot of time there and put Wesker in threat. I know he's got a bit of wing damage, so this last part of the sector might be difficult for him. So, but yeah. Now look, those guys would have probably got me on pace anyways, but it didn't have to be so hair raising on lap 1 anyways. But we made it. But I know another day that could have easily been a very big crash for someone along the way. I'm losing the back end out of turn 1. That would have been a disaster. I think it was Coutinho on my right hand side, but I'm going to try and defend this. Going to come over, back across then onto the racing line. Wesker goes deep, and I'm just going to kind of lock the steering, and then boom, switch back. Dreams good. Legend is going to go through then as well on Wesker, and I think he's going to try for a move down the inside. Is he? No, not this time. But still in 5th. And lots of squabbling in front. So I'm hoping that maybe there's a bottleneck somewhere and I could maybe keep it in close range. And that seems to be where we're at as we head on to lap 3. I think I was Frunky behind. And as a result of this, there's another car involved. And the safety car is going to be deployed. Now, if I was further down the field, no, I wouldn't have pitted because it's only lap 3. Says Softs went 6 laps. So clearly not the tyre to go to on the end here. But... This is the restart. Tom was... This is an interesting restart from Tom. I think not the first time now that I think about it, but normally you'd go by now. But he very much kept us on the edge, and it still hasn't actually gone yet. So I thought I thought I had timed this really well, because like I'm gonna be. I only got off the throttle there for a second, and boom, there goes one position. Slipstream for Blizzard. He's going to be another one to take a position. I thought I timed that relatively okay, but apparently not. So losing 2 positions and off the safety car restart, and with quicker drivers behind still. Oh, great. Are we even going to score any points in this one? Josh wasn't able to join for the sprint feature race because he didn't get an invite. But he's here for the sprint race, and he's on the outside. I think, for the love of God, don't do it. You're not getting space. I'm closing this door, because you're clearly not alongside to have a go. But thankfully he got out of it. But there's no points. There's no sense fighting this, because he's just that much quicker. So again, just like what I did with Tom, not going to really fight this, because he's just too much. He's just too much quicker. Too much quicker. He's too quick. And look at the gaggle up there. Like, there's not too far away. So if another car get in the mix there, maybe I can hang on with DRS. But that didn't turn out to be the case. But some squabbling did end up happening, and we did have DRS for a little bit. But now, getting back within Josh then after some sort of a little collision or something. But now we are back in DRS range. I thought, okay, look, Nolan behind, not dropping him, but we're still there. And a lap or two later, lap 11 actually, another bit of contact for Josh. And he is around. We're up to P7 then, and Zexer then is who we've got very similar pace to, it seems, this race anyway. He is in P6, so that's where we stand. Nolan's still behind, and yeah, a few laps to go. Lap 12. I actually cooked this braking point, and that's going to allow Nolan for a little switch back here. Thankfully, this is my one saving grace, the fact that I had DRS. I go to the outside line. I didn't think he'd send it. That could have been very dangerous for both of us, because I didn't think he was far enough alongside to send one like that, like to get the move done, and he didn't get the move done. So we stay in P7, and I'm pretty happy about that. But we did lose DRS then to Zexer. To gain it back though, he had a horrendous run off of this area. You see Josh there in 9th. He's only 2.2 behind us. So I was like, I was more just thinking of Josh than I was of Nolan. Like, shit, I don't want to get like Josh had that spin, and he's gonna be closing up. But there's just no way through. Like, there's no place to send it. As much as I would have wanted to at some point, but there's no place to send it. And now Josh is really closing in. So I thought, okay, surely what's going to keep me safe from him is the fact that Nolan is the car in between. So lap 13. So obviously the last lap. Then we're going to start in a second. I have DRS, thankfully, and that's the most important, arguably the most important thing at this stage. I know my straight line speed isn't great, but having DRS is big. So anyways, here we go. DRS open. As we begin the last lap of the race, see Josh the fastest lap of the race there, so he's 8/10 behind. So again, I don't think Nolan's close enough. He's going to go for a dive anyways. Actually, pretty clean to be fair. That one, like, he actually made the corner. That was close. But I'm going to send it down the inside. Bit of understeer, but he's got enough traction on the outside. I lost the back end, but I'm not sure what happened, if he decided just to file in or what. But that was hairy to say the least. But I was really pushing, you could see, and there is a speed up the rest of this this part of the lap anyways, because again there's no real way through unless you make a mistake. I can keep it close with Zexer, but again, no real way through. So I have to hope then penalties are going to help me, hopefully, in the sprint race. They did in the feature race, so I was hoping maybe in the sprint race they would as well, because only 5 laps less in the sprint than there is in the feature race. But here we go then, we'll see what's what. Josh did get by Nolan, and if he had the rest of the straight, he would have got by me too, and maybe even the start finish line being further down. But we're going to hold on for P7, no penalties in the end to kind of promote us. So a P6 and a P7, can't complain too much with that. I felt really good about how I was driving and the pace for me, so I was happy with that, and I thought it was a some well-earned points finishes, and I thought that was good. Anyways, next up is Belgium, I believe. Oh, Genie Mac, that should be fun, right? Absolute gauntlet. Until next time.